What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and you're watching another episode of Let's Play Quest 64. Normally I would, run around all over the place, because that's, just what I like to do when I'm introducing myself, but in this game the encounter rate is pretty high, and I don't want to get into a battle right away, so... anyways, we're here in the north at Melroad, and we have to make our way down to the southwest? Yeah, southwest. To Dondoran. So, let's get on our way. Now, one of the things that's interesting about this game is that when you get into a fight, much like this one, it literally occurs exactly where you are standing when the fight starts. So, I'll explain the repercussions of that after this fight. So, our first order of business is to kill these little rabbit things. And I happen to know that these things are wind elemental. So the best thing to do is use an earth attack on them, such as rock, which just happens to be an ability that can be used from a distance. Now, one of the interesting things about this game is a lot of abilities you have a chance to dodge them, much like you saw me do there. I kind of failed there, but I don't know why, but they decided in this game to implement a hard dodge where you can actually get out of the way of the ability, as well as the ability for stuff to actually just straight up miss, even if it connects. Which is pretty retarded if you ask me, but what are you gonna do? So for this particular attack, the Wind Cutter level 1, the best way to dodge it is to just kind of run in a circle. It tries to track you, and that will kind of confuse it, or what have you. It's not the biggest problem ever, if you get hit by it, of course, but yeah. So that's just a basic look at, well, we got 75% experience for that, so that's one thing. But that's a basic look at how elements in this game work. Basically, fire and water and earth and wind are just kind of opposed, which is pretty basic stuff. That's how a lot of games work. Around here somewhere there's a spirit. So here we have a couple hellhounds. They're kinda nasty, but they are weak to water, and I have a few points in water. And I missed. Like I said, dumb system. So, you can see that water does a little bit more damage than my rock spell was doing against those hares. Or whatever the heck they're called. So I'm going to keep putting spirits in water for the time being. Is it over here that the spirit's at? I hope so. So just keep hitting these guys with the rocks. Rocks they can be kind of tricky to aim just because the camera in this game is terrible. But for the most part it's pretty forgiving. So right now, all we really have is level 1 of each, well, I guess I have level 2 water pillar now. But we have level 1 of each of the basic type elements. So, you've seen water pillar and rock. That's fireball. And, well, that's wind cutter. I know that spell too. Although using it against these things are not very effective. Each one has kind of its own strengths and weaknesses, but they're all pretty basic. And if you get right up in an enemy's face, you can hit them with your staff. And hitting an enemy with your staff will actually... Oh, I got some fresh bread. Hitting an enemy with your staff will actually give you 1 MP back. So that's kind of handy. I seem to have missed where exactly the spirit is. So I guess it's over here. Somewhere. Where are you? Oh god. Now here's a interesting enemy. I can't think what they're called, but I don't actually want to fight this guy. The reason being, they're really slow, and they will only try and hit you when they're right up close, so if you really want, you can just kind of stand at a distance and shoot them with, wind cutter or something. But they have a ton of health, and they're probably going to be doing like 8 damage. So here we see how you run away from battles. You can see there's this giant yellowish octagon here. Or I don't know if it's an octagon, but something. And if you move your own area outside, like if you move outside of that, then it will let you escape from battle. So that is what I did. Now, as you kind of increase your proficiency with an element, like I said, you learn new spells. So I used Water Pillar before, but I can use Water Pillar level 2 now. You can see it's just a bigger water pillar, and it also that also means that it reaches outward a little bit further. The way you do that is just when you hit the C stick in one of the directions, that chooses your element, and then you choose a second element to kind of add on to your first one. So adding a second water element on will increase the power of Water Pillar. Really, it's just kind of selecting a second element from, or just choosing spells from a kind of directional menu. Where the heck is this spirit at? Am I like completely delusional? Is it like over here somewhere? I mean, I guess it's not the biggest deal ever if I don't find it, but it would sure help if I did. Well, whatever. I don't see it anywhere, so I don't know, maybe my information is just wrong. Now, for now, I'm just kind of running away. And at this point, I'm going to use it kind of as an example of something. So, when you escape, the camera angle doesn't really do anything. Okay, well, I don't want to fight these guys. These guys are very challenging at this point, of where I'm really, really weak right now. So anyways, there's this house over here. I want to go in here. But as I was saying, jeez, I really got stuck on that ledge there. If you run away from a fight, the camera just kind of sticks itself wherever it wants to. Whereas if you actually win a fight, your character will kind of jump in the air and turn around, and they will face themselves towards whatever direction they were facing when you started the fight. And I want to get the hell out of here because these guys are hard. That attack can be pretty nasty because it has a chance of paralyzing you. So anyways, you can see... Okay, well the camera's just doing whatever it wants, but I was like here when the battle started, and if I had won the fight, I would turn around and jump and turn around and face in this direction. And the point of that is, because fights, they happen wherever you're standing, it's pretty easy to get disoriented. So, if they face the character in the direction they were facing when the battle started, you know, I was walking in this direction, so I can just keep walking in this direction, and I'll be going where I want. Kind of like that. So, that's something that's pretty important to keep in mind. Got a new enemy here. Start off with Wind Cutter. Okay, well, that Man-Eater thing uses Earth Elemental attacks, much like that rock. So I was trying to hit him with Wind Cutter because that would do like bonus damage or whatever, but it missed. At this point, it's probably better, like even despite elemental weaknesses, it's probably better to go with water spells, just because I have so many more elements in water than anything else. So, just for comparison's sake, we know that the rocks are doing like 6 or 8 damage. And you can see that water is doing almost double that, despite not being the so-called correct element to use against these guys. So that's one of the... I guess I would consider that a downside, but... And this is the main reason I went so hard into water, because at 7 water spirits you can learn the healing spell, which is incredibly important throughout the game. I guess I can go in here. I don't think I actually need to for any reason. It's just an old lady here, and I really don't care what she has to say. So, yeah, at this point, obviously healing is pretty weak. It only heals 4 HP, but having something that can restore your HP is incredibly helpful. Just anything. So now that I have healing, I'm a little bit more confident taking on these guys, so... let's try taking on this guy first, because like I said, he has that attack, which has a chance to paralyze you. Water might not be the best bet against this guy, just because he's water elemental, so he would naturally resist water attacks, but it seems to have worked okay. And water should do good against this guy because he is using all fire attacks. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Now one of the things to keep in mind is that healing is what's considered like a level 2 spell, because you have to hit C down and then C left. So that's like 2 inputs, so it costs 2 MP. But aside from regaining MP from hitting stuff with your staff, you also gain MP as you walk. You can see my MP is up to 10 now, which is pretty handy because that is usually enough regeneration to kind of keep you going pretty much forever. So, in general, I find that the best way to go about things is to kill hellhounds. Wow, that's a lot of hellhounds. That's something that this game just really likes to do sometimes for whatever ungodly reason. They just throw a fight at you that's like a bajillion enemies. And really, it's not that big a deal because the way this game handles turn order, it's just a matter of one of the enemies goes and then you go, not like you go and then all the enemies go. So fighting 4 enemies is a lot like saying fighting with 4 one-on-one fights. And you can kind of manipulate it a little bit, but I'll get into that when it becomes a little bit more pertinent. Just continuing to put elements in water for the time being. I'm going to keep doing that for a while. I would just like to make it over there to Dondoran. If the game would let me do that. Brilliant. Okay, so we have arrived here in Dondoran, and we will continue this on the next episode of Let's Play Quest 64. Catch you later.